What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Corey's Car Review. When you have something as awesome as this, you have to do it justice. You have to bring in the person that owns it because they're going to know way more. There's too much on this vehicle to look up and research. So I'm going to bring in the owner of this, Scott Rowe. He's going to help us talk about this, do it justice.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Hey, welcome.
Good.
Sorry, I was shaking with my left hand.
That's all right.
This was a little out of order.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you take the reins on this and tell us everything about it, because there's way too much here to even attempt to learn about. So, how long have you had this?
So I bought the car 5 years ago. I've always wanted an H1 Hummer ever since Arnold Schwarzenegger started driving the military ones around. And I found this out of South Carolina 5 years ago. It was military green, you know, the camouflage green, and completely stock at that time. So I flew out there, bought it, and drove it back to Kansas City, which was
What kind of drive was that?
It took 2 days, 2 full days of driving, because it was originally a 3-speed, which was factory for it, and maxing out about 50, 55, and so it took a lot longer than I hoped.
Man, was it rough?
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, it was a rough ride. I mean, there were, you know, the way they were built, they weren't built for luxury or comfort. So,
Well, you could have instead of taking the road, you could have just veered off through fields and then got back on the road and then went through fields and got back.
I've never been almost run over by so many semis in all my life.
Man, as wide as this thing is, that's so cool. And this is the first one that I've seen in person.
Oh, okay.
The only ones I've seen have been in magazines or movies, and this is the first one that I've ever seen. And this thing is awesome looking.
Well, thanks. I've over the years, I've done a lot to it to more customize it, make it more, well, one, make it street legal, and then two, be able to utilize it more comfort, and but still be able to have the off-road capabilities to have fun off-road.
And I've noticed, which we'll walk around, that you've got the 440 air conditioner, four doors off, 40 mile
That's
an hour.
right. That's right. Yeah. It's a little bit better than just roll down the window.
Yeah. Well, let's walk around, and you can follow us, and he can point out everything that was factory that's still on here, and some stuff that he's upgraded, stuff that he's done to it. Is this the factory? Factory original, I guess. But is this original guard and all that?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I bought it, I was able to find a true military H1 or AMC, technically, a brush guard and a rooftop rack.
Okay.
So those are military grade. In fact, pretty much most of the outside is all stock military Hummer, including suspension. Some of the things that I've done, as far as looking at the front, is I've replaced all the lights on the car with LED lights. The originals aren't very bright, including the turn signals. And then those tires have been replaced.
Okay.
The original ones have a run flat tire in the middle, and they can ride really rough. So just by changing out the wheels and tires made it ride almost like the difference between like a Cadillac and a go-kart.
Yeah.
Feel different.
And you said the tire in the back was one of the original.
One of the original tires.
Okay.
Yep, that was on the car. Then it was originally camo green. I painted it flat black, and had the inside rhino lined along with the truck bed rhino lined as well. So you can still beat it up and not have to worry about damaging too much.
Yeah.
And the top is a factory or military Hummer soft top as well. But all the suspension, everything else, the motor, the drive, the axle, everything is still military grade, except for the transmission was replaced with it was originally a 3-speed automatic, and now it's got a GM 4-speed. So it's not Cat 55 it's cruise, 65, 70 on the highway, no problem.
Okay.
Faster than that if it has a little bit more horsepower.
And you said this was a 6.5 diesel?
That's right.
Okay.
6.5 diesel. They made a 6.2, which was the early years of 1994. lot of people now are replacing these, since everything is interchangeable with GM, are replacing with the Duramax 6.6 diesel. It's a fun little upgrade.
Yeah. Now explain, because I didn't know what these were, but explain what these are, and then there's some hooks around it.
Yeah.
What those are used for.
So the Hummers are obviously built for the ability where you can transport by helicopter, especially if you're in war and you need to move a bunch of Hummers into a different area that might not be easily attainable by roads. These helicopters will hook to these hooks here on the front, and then there's similar ones on the back bumper that are welded all the way a part of the actual frame of the Hummer, and that way they can pick these things up very quickly and transport them to another area, by helicopter.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, pretty neat. I wish I had a helicopter.
Yeah, just put that on the list.
Yeah.
If your wife was, then there's a Christmas idea. How much? Do you know how much this weighs?
It's got a weight. The original military specs are right here on the side of the cart.
Oh wow!
So its
That's
total
cool.
weight is 7,880 pounds.
Okay.
I've added a bunch of additional, like with different wheels and tires and some of the interior. It's probably 80 to 100 pounds.
I was mainly curious because like I said, this is the first time I've ever seen one, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much they weighed, and
They used to be really heavy, but now anymore your newer SUVs and stuff are getting pretty heavy up there now too. But yeah, so it's a little over 8,000 pounds.
okay.
So, as far as the interior, we once over the years I changed. Had a company actually out of Wichita that took out the original framing and installed new frames for the seats, and we added leather seats.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
they
those look a lot more comfortable than
Yeah.
what they were.
They're a lot more comfortable than what it came with.
Than what
Originally,
what you rode home
stabilizer bars that are behind each seat, and they welded those out so they could move
Okay.
these back to get a little more room in the interior. They originally built where the most room is for the rear passengers and really tight up front, because rear passengers are typically the ones that are defending it and
Right.
or need to get in and out quickly. So now I've changed that to where it's a little bit more tight back.
Yeah.
And more room in front. With the transmission change out, I had the same company out of Wichita added custom-made center console for it. Because originally it didn't have any electronics to plug into as far as USB ports or cigarette lighter or any of that. It didn't have any of that. So they've added to it. We're able to install this where I can change my transmission shift points, function of the center piece, and then I can plug in and charge my phone and stuff while I'm driving.
Oh, that's cool.
Before on my drive from South Carolina to Kansas City, there was no luxuries whatsoever.
And I can imagine it would be probably pretty loud to talk on the phone driving down the road with this thing.
Yeah, especially when I was capped out going 50-55 on the highway, semis are passing you, like you're saying still. And this is so heavy that when a semi would pass me, I had left the back seat, the back doors on, air would just flow through so fast when a semi would pass. And at one point I was actually talking on the cell phone with my right hand, and a semi passed me so fast that it blew the phone out of my hand and blew it out the passenger door.
Oh,
and I had to pull over and go find my phone. So now I'm not getting past this nearly as fast.
Yeah,
if I am.
yeah.
So
Well, let's walk around and check the back of this out, and then we'll show the interior when we get around there. This is one of the factory wheels. Now, would you explain to me again about the way this wheel's set up?
Sure. So it's originally it's a GM, 8-spoke wheel. So the wheels that I replace it with were, would fit any, eight spoke. It's a spoke.
Yeah.
Spoke.
Or
ram.
eight lug.
8 lugs. Sorry. And then these actually are connected to another tire within inside this. That's like a run flat tire. So that way, if it's ever shot out, they can still drive on the tire. So these are actually connected to that inner tire.
Man, that looks so beefy.
It is beefy. These
And
wheels are actually the same height as these. It's just these tires don't have zero give.
Yeah.
Right. So
I would just feel that when you're
real
talking,
rough.
and it's like pushing against a brick.
Oh yeah, it rides so differently just by changing the wheels and tires out. I added the swing on this whole arm on the back of it.
Okay.
Before when I bought it, didn't have that.
So
but I
all that-
wanted to have a spare.
All that was Oh, the swing for the tire.
Yeah, that's
okay,
right.
Okay,
Yeah, so
gotcha.
I don't. This is aftermarket.
Okay.
But before I didn't need a spare because I had the run flats
Right,
inside
right.
there. But now that I don't, I needed to make sure I had a spare. And then I used up the back lights with LED lights as well. And then this is where the helicopters.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you. So these are the hooks for the helicopter.
Right there.
That's cool.
And for military, when they tow on military trailers, they use this hook system instead of what we use to tow
Okay.
trailers.
That's like a Fast and Furious hook.
Yeah, like a hook.
One thing I want to zoom in, since we're not in Oklahoma right now, but since this channel's in Oklahoma, we got to get a picture of that.
Yeah, that's the best modification to the car.
This thing is so cool, and I love how light they are. One thing I did want to ask you, the story behind this ginormous floor.
So Hummer moved the transmission up to maximize your ground clearance underneath, especially in war, and then it's covered in steel. So if you run over a bomb or EUD, it would help protect. But what they do is that this main purpose is to raise the transmission up, so maximize your ground clearance.
For more
Below.
ground
Yeah. So
clearance.
actually, you'll see underneath, it's completely covered and smooth.
Okay.
Underneath.
Oh yeah. Huh.
So you can really you go over a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And it looks like it's a mile between the passenger seat and the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's hard. I can't reach over and open the passenger door.
Yeah.
And then the little round snorkel on the front of the hood, in front of the passenger seat.
Oh yeah. Over
That's
there.
your air intake, so you can go through high bodies of water.
Okay.
And theoretically, as long as water doesn't reach that, you can go through high levels of water.
Okay. See, I would assume that with it being a snorkel, it would be sticking up. But
Yeah, I would think it'd be higher, like what most people do, but I guess the way these were originally built, they didn't expect to go any deeper water than that. Now I've had the water up to about here, and that was scary.
Yeah. Well, this is cool. Do you want to? We'll check out the interior, and then maybe we can open this up.
Sure.
Now you did say that you changed the gauges out, right?
Yep. So the gauges were, well, obviously this is an I-Type 4. A lot of them weren't reading correctly. Some of them weren't working at all. And with this, the original Speedo maxing out at 55, I knew that with the new, different transmission, I'd be going faster than that. So I've replaced it with an actual GPS Speedo, and then getting all the gauges updated. And then the steering wheel, the original military steering wheel,
Oh, you said
really
it was
big.
huge.
Yeah. In fact, the way that this I also added this key lock to it, because the original ones, they just had a little lever you push down to start it. So anybody could really
Anybody
walk,
could just-
walk in there and start
Oh.
it. The way they locked them was actually with this, and they would wrap this around the steering wheel, and then they would lock it.
Okay.
And because it was a full steel steering wheel, I gave up on that. I decided to add a key and then change out the steering wheel to something a lot lighter, so it's easier to turn it.
Okay. Now
And,
what are these are these just your light switches, or what?
Yeah,
Are these?
so these lights, these lights here, you can control obviously your headlights. There's one switch where originally the front of the Hummer's got above the second light here, there's a cover right here. And so
Okay.
if you're working at night and you're in operation, you still need to have a little light, but you don't want to show your position.
Right.
You can flip the switch and this light comes on and shines down.
Oh, okay.
So you can someone walking in front, they can help you shed a little light on
Oh, okay.
on where you're going, but without showing it.
So all that's original to this.
It's all original. Yep. So all the lighting, the switches are original. Besides adding the light or the key, this is the original stock turn signal. So with this switch turned on, this will light up, telling you that your turn signal is going on.
Okay.
And I've added to the Speedo.
Okay.
However, originally, in the military, this would be the only way you know your turn signal light would be on.
Okay.
And you can even turn that off if you're wanting no light to shine at all.
Okay.
So just a better way to be covert
Right.
at night.
Man, this is so cool.
Yeah, the windshield wipers are in the middle. The switch,
Yeah.
those switchboards in the middle.
Alright. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, let's, you want to get this side and I'll
Yeah.
get the other side?
So first thing I gotta take lower the brush guard. Push that button. Yeah, perfect. Lower that down like that. Sorry, it's dirty.
Oh,
I didn't have a chance to clean it.
Just raising the hood is more than I've done in 36 years. So.
Well, so it's it's a Chevrolet 6.5 diesel that came originally with this car. One thing that I've added to it is on top of the radiator, I've added electric motors underneath that. When we turn on the car, just the initial those fans run.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I did that is when the Hummer gets hot, gets over 220 degrees, the fan is actually connected to a belt off the motor, and it comes on. It's very loud, and it pulls off the power off the motor.
Okay.
And you design like if you're out in the desert, when it hits that 220, it will kick this serpentine belt on that will pull off the motor, and it cools the motor down faster.
Okay.
But it's very loud, and with already pulling off the power of the motor, it can drag it down a little bit. So
Right.
adding electric fans and adding 2 electric fans that constantly, every time the key's on, they're on, especially in Texas in summer, it keeps the Hummer cooler. And since I've added those 2 electric fans to it, the main serpentine belt, or the fan connected to the serpentine belt, has never kicked on.
Oh, wow.
So a little bit more efficient.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds like motor's blowing when it goes off.
Well,
But it's easy to work on.
Yeah.
GM stuff.
everything could be interchangeable. And,
Yeah, a lot of people with the 6.5 turbo or a diesel, they put a turbo on it, and that's a good way to add torque and horsepower.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Or a lot of people for the really expensive fun toy upgrade is to add the Duramax
Yeah.
to it.
And you can't ever go wrong with a turbo or a supercharger. I mean, that's just, you can add that on anything.
Oh yeah. No, if my wife would let me do it, I would add a turbo.
Well, let's, is there anything else you want to talk about, or you think we should fire it up and hop in and go for a ride?
Let's go for a ride.
All right. Yeah, there's 60 right there. Pretty fast. Smooth.
Yeah, you go 75. Transmission made all the world difference.
I just can't get over how smooth this is. You don't even need your signal. You just get over and get out of your way.
Look at out your way.
Okay, guys, I hope you liked this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like, share. Scott, I want to tell you thank you
Hey.
for taking the time out
Absolutely, my
to show us
pleasure.
this.
My pleasure.
This is so cool. It was a blast, and look forward to doing some more videos.
Well, yeah, absolutely.